Welcome to another journey on the path to the unbreakable you. As a non-white person, there's a high likelihood that you have been conditioned and programmed to be ashamed of your ancestors. It is almost impossible not to feel this way due to the way our history books are set up in this society that we live in. However, this little game, this little scenario that we're going to play will help you get a better understanding of just how amazing your ancestors were. Imagine that I have a gun pointed at your head and I am robbing you at gunpoint. And I take all of your possessions. I take your money, your laptop, your phone, and car. Now that I have all of your possessions and physical power over you, does this make me more intelligent? Does this make me a superior human being? Does this make me better than you? Of course not. Next, imagine your computer has thousands and/or hundreds of years of information about science, math, history, medicine, all the wisdom in life over the last thousands of years that has been accumulated is on your computer, and I now have all of that information, and I keep it. And I keep you as a prisoner for the rest of your life and never give you access to the information on your computer again. Am I now genetically more intelligent than you? Of course not. Next, imagine that I keep you as a prisoner for all of your life. But I allow you to get married and to have kids. And I tell you that you are now from a different race than me, because I have all of the power and information in the computers. So when your kids are born, I tell them that they come from a race that I have decided to call the less race. And I tell my kids that they come from a race called the more race. And for generations after generations, for hundreds of years, they grow up believing that they are from the less race of people and from the more race of people. Are they really any less or any different than the way that they were created? Are they different than what their creator created them to be? Are the laws and principles of the universe different now? Of course not. They are still the most powerful entity on earth, called the human species. They are genetically still the same as everyone else. But the game continues. Next, imagine that every chance that I get, I create stories about how intelligent, good, and powerful and courageous the people from the more man-made race are. And create stories about how weak, ignorant, fearful people from the less man-made race are. I created a whole system and scenario of races. And the storytelling continues generation after generation. Do you think this would have effect on a person's self-worth and how they access the enormous powers and capabilities that exist within them? Do you think this may cause some kind of resistance to the enormous potential we human beings have deep within us? This constant storytelling of building up my man-made race and tearing down your man-made race would eventually change your self-concept. This is an absolute guarantee. You would start to feel less as a human being, and you would start to worship or to put on a pedestal people from the more man-made race. It is almost impossible for this type of thinking and belief system not to occur. This is the kind of thing that happened to your ancestors. They lost the battle of the gun and could no longer tell their own stories. So they became whatever those in power wanted them to become. No matter what heroic things you've seen in the movies about other man-made races of people, when someone is pointing a gun at you and your children and loved ones, you lose your power. And whoever has the gun and military power become your boss. There's not a person alive from any man-made race on earth that could not be controlled with the gun and military power. When someone is threatening the life of your children and those you love, you do whatever you can to keep them alive. You do what you are told, or you and your loved ones are killed. When someone has more weapons than you, this doesn't make them a better person than you. It doesn't make them genetically superior. Please know this deep in the marrow of your existence. You must be aware of this. This is how you find your self-worth and your self-power and get back in alignment with who and what you genetically are. Your ancestors were not beaten because of lack of bravery or intelligence. They were not beaten or controlled and made some kind of second-class citizen because they were genetically inferior to other man-made races of people. These kind of things did not occur because they were cowards or weak. If you are carjacked and robbed, does that make you weak or genetically inferior? It certainly doesn't make you a bad person. Your ancestors were good people, just like most human beings are. Bad things do happen to good people. Never underestimate the goodness, courage, and intelligence of your ancestors. You are alive today because of their bravery, ingenuity, wisdom, and heroic efforts they put forth to live. No matter what your man-made race, your ancestors survived circumstances that would break most of the people living today. I am telling you all of this because one of the major ways we lose our power and throw our self-concept out of alignment is by not knowing the real history of the world and not knowing who and what our ancestors really were. No matter what the history books say and how TV shows and movies portray your ancestors, you should know deep in your heart that your ancestors were amazing, good people with tremendous intelligence, kindness, and wisdom. They set up amazing societies and were very capable, powerful people, especially before they were indoctrinated into believing the false man-made concept of race and became out of alignment with their genetic structure. Believe me, your ancestors were amazing, good people. You know how I know this without even knowing you personally? I know this because they were human beings, the most complex, amazing, capable species on Earth. And they possessed the highest technology on Earth, the human mind. So trust in some of their wisdom and be proud of them because they really were amazing, good people, just like you.